Today I'm going to talk about the question on preparing for boot camp, the general orders, the ranks, shoulder boards, collar devices, things like that. Generally what I would say actually is don't worry too much about memorizing a lot of stuff beforehand. It's great that you know your general orders already. That's awesome, and that will help you. When it comes to ranks and collar devices, shoulder boards, things like that, I get the inclination to want to know all that stuff beforehand, but honestly, you're going to learn so much more before you get to that point. You're going to be put through a lot of stressful situations. You're going to have to think on your feet a lot, and there's a lot of daily knowledge that you have to remember each day, like officer of the day, things like that changes every day. And so it's hard to retain a lot of stuff. So what can happen is when you get to that point in training, when you do have to learn the ranks, it can actually get kind of frustrating when you don't remember it. The other part of it is if you're trying to learn on paper, and if you're trying to learn through descriptions of the ranks, like for example with the senior chief, when you talked about having the 1 star above the anchor, sometimes it could be difficult to visualize the ranks when you learn them by describing them. When you get to the point in your career when you're studying for a service-wide exam, it actually will benefit you to learn it the way you talked about it, describing the 1 star above the anchor or whatever the description of the particular rank is, because they will frame it in the questions in that way to describe the ranks. For boot camp, it's pretty much all visual. You will get to the point where they'll expect you to address personnel by their rank. And so looking at the collars, looking at the shoulder devices, the shoulder boards, looking at the insignia on their covers is going to be what's going to allow you to know the ranks. So don't worry too much about memorizing as much as you can before you get there. I think it actually will make it more stressful. What I would focus on more is practicing being in stressful, unpredictable situations. And I know that's difficult because you are going to be in unpredictable, stressful situations that you can't always plan for. So just think about that mindset. Maybe think about a time when you were in a very stressful, difficult situation where you maybe didn't know what to do right away, and kind of channel that feeling, because honestly, boot camp is a lot about thinking on your feet and dealing with stress and making quick and sound decisions, and not panicking too much, not getting too stressed out. So when it comes time to learn the ranks in class, they did a pretty good job of explaining it. And as rough as the CCs can be when they're in their CC training mode, in the classroom it was generally pretty straightforward, respectful, and just really, really based in getting you the knowledge that you need to know, not about giving you a really hard time. Also, the tests were typically open book, so you just had to know where to go to find it. They're not trying to set you up to fail. They're trying to set you up to succeed. It will happen when you're there that you will get a rank wrong at some point addressing somebody. And actually, as much as it would seem like you're going to really eat it when that happens, you really don't. They'll just, at least in my experience, when that happened, I would just be told what the correct rank was, and you kind of take it and move on. So, I know that I did the same thing. Before I went to basic, I tried to memorize as much as I could. I had all those 11 general orders down. I tried to know as much as I could. But the problem is you go through so much when you first get there that has nothing to do with all that stuff that you studied. And by the time you get to that stuff, you're going to have forgotten some of it. and you're just going to be, you're going to find that stuff, memorizing those things really isn't as important as you thought it was. If you show up to boot camp and you just know a whole lot of stuff, that's not going to make the CCs lay off you. That's not going to make them really, honestly, any more impressed with you. It's going to be how you handle those situations in the moment. Just the idea of preparing yourself to be in unpredictable, challenging, and or awkward situations where you have to, for one, think on your feet and try to maintain a level head in spite of a lot of external factors that are messing with you, but also to keep going, to hold that position wherever you're in, and not to let those external things bring you down. So honestly, you're gonna get it wrong. The point is to fail to a certain extent. They're gonna find something to get you for being wrong. So when the time comes, I think you'll be fine. You will remember what you need to remember, and you will learn it at the time that you need to learn it. Also, keep in mind that basic training is very structured. You learn certain things in certain weeks, and so really it's not going to do you a whole lot of good to memorize stuff that you're going to learn in week 3 and week 4 when you're going to be there for 2.5 weeks learning how to march, learning facing movements, learning how to line up for chow, learning how to stand a watch, learning your job or whatever it is. It's really just going to complicate things more than anything. That's just my opinion. Obviously, go to it. If you want to learn all the ranks, that's awesome. Good for you. I think that honestly, even when I got out of basic, I didn't have a great idea of all the ranks, because you're not going to meet an admiral. You're probably not going to meet a captain until maybe when you graduate, but you're not going to be interacting with very many people above a chief or senior chief throughout your time at basic training. So if you are going to focus on any ranks, I would focus on E4 to E7, because that's going to be the ranks of your company commanders, and that's the ones that are going to matter the most. Anyway, I hope that helped. That was a great question. Please keep them coming, and if you have any more, let me know. I'll try to help as much as I can. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.